Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
It's Clint again, and I'm back. Welcome to our second week of going behind the scenes backstage with amazing studio owners who are doing some really impactful work in their local communities. Now, today I'm talking to the phenomenal Patti Johnston from Core Dynamics in Alberta, Canada. She's one of our Inner Circle members, and I just love Patti. She is so passionate about impacting the lives of her students, her families, but she came to us. She applied for the Inner Circle originally and has been one of our members now going into her second year to really help her step into the role of becoming the CEO while not losing, by life not kind of being taken over by the studio. You're really going to love this conversation with Patti. She also talks about how as the studio has grown, her numbers have grown, how she's been able to keep that personal touch with all of her customers. By the way, this is the last week for you to apply for the Inner Circle for 2017. So if you haven't already, please check out what this coaching mastermind program is all about. Go to dancestudioownersassociation.com/Inner Circle. You'll get all the details right there about the program. We run live retreats, 3-day retreats, 4 times a year. We do weekly group coaching calls with our members. It's really a lot of fun. Plus, it's hugely impactful for our members that commit to our Inner Circle family. So we'd love to see an application from you. But now let's get on to this awesome interview with the amazing Patti. Patti, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Clint. How are you?
I'm awesome. So, Patti, start by telling us a little bit about your studio. Like, how did you get into this world of opening up a dance studio?
Well, mine actually opened by accident. I had taught for different studios in and around the area for a number of years. And to be honest with you, got a little tired of the new age parent and the new age student, where I felt like they thought they could just throw money at you and you could make them good, regardless of whether they showed up for class or practiced, like any of the above. And so at that time, my hips were consistently going out too. And I landed in a Pilates class with Mari Windsor at Dance Teacher Summit, actually the first time I went to New York, and had trouble getting down onto the mat. Did the class, skipped out going, like, I don't know what just happened in there, but I am looking into this when I get back home. And I did, and I fell in love with Pilates, and it took 2 weeks to fix what was a 5-year issue for me. And I actually started a Pilates studio. But when I left teaching, I had three senior students that wanted to do their teacher's exams and were doing their grade 8 RAD at the time and followed me in. So I still taught dance, but only to those that I wanted to. That sounds really bad. But that's kind of how it started. And so I opened a Pilates studio. It took off. And then I did private lessons for students that needed extra help with exam preparation or wanted a little tweaking on their solo or duet, things like that. So I always had a little bit of a foot in the door. Mm-hmm. And then I decided I like doing it when I'm in charge and not having to follow somebody else's rules or lack of rules or rules for this kid and not for this kid. That sort of stuff bothered me. So I started offering 6-week sessions, things like a turns and progressions class, ballet technique, tap technique. And then some of my Pilates clients, like I did a Pilates for dancers to help with common issues. And I had about 5 families approach me and ask if I would teach their daughters the following season because they were not happy at their current studio. I'm like, oh no, I'm done with that. But they were persistent And I do love teaching, and they won. And I said, well, I'm only teaching your kids. But they told other people, and my phone started to ring. And I hear you're opening a dance studio. I'm like, no, I'm done with that. And what started as 6-week classes, and I think our first year I had 45 students, and we're now approaching that 300 student mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really great, because why I love your story is that there was a need and a want in the market. And like you said, it was an accident. It was completely organic. It was just that people were seeing the work that you were doing. They're like, hey, can we do more of that? Like, can we come to you as like proper dance studios, not just you helping us for exams or solos or performance? And from that, naturally, a dance studio is formed alongside your Pilates studio as well. What were one of the big, or two of the big lessons that you learned, in those early years of becoming like a proper dance studio?
I think for me, it was, I had a good friend who had been in the business for a long time say to me, sit down and write out what your moral code and your values are before you do this. Mm-hmm. And if I could tell anybody starting or thinking about it, it would be that. So that when you're in that 11th hour and you're faced with losing that student that's taking 12 hours of classes a week, do I choose the money, my moral code? The moral code sorts out all of those decisions for me. It's black and white. There's not a lot of gray when I go back to that sheet of paper. And it answers it. And it's like, do I want this or do I want the money? And for me, it's like, you can't take your money with you, but the relationships you develop along the way, being able to look at myself in the mirror at night, that goes a long way.
Yeah, totally. And I think the other thing, and it's great you mentioned that, because that was something that, like, for me, and I think for the group, was really strong with Sue, one of our speakers at our retreat in Las Vegas. She was very like, here are my values. This is what, this is how I run my studio. And in that moment, I think the whole group was like, this is amazing. Like, so much clarity and help around decision making comes when we know our values and our vision and we stick to it, because we both know, right? You're still a studio owner. I was a studio owner. And I know it's hard sometimes, like the person's, the parent's not right, but you love the kid and they're not paying their fees and you're like, I want to keep you. I really want to keep you. But you can't. It goes against what you've put in place. So I think that's a great tip. How did you kind of form them? Like, what kind of process? Because I love processes and systems. Yeah. What process did you go through to get clarity around those? And are you revisiting them like often with the team? Talk a little bit about that.
What I did is I wrote down everything I absolutely hated working in other studios. Things that made me not be able to sleep at night because I was grinding my teeth and angry and this is unfair or unjust and just got under my skin. And I was like, ugh. And I'm like, that's the beauty of owning your own studio. You can do whatever the heck you want. You can't. You have to own it. Like, at the end of the day, if it goes for pot, you're the one you're
responsible. Yeah.
But I like that now too. So I think, again, they kind of came organically. I knew what I liked. I knew what I didn't. One of the biggest things for me working at other studios was, Alberta's rich in oil. So money dictates a lot in our area, especially with certain names. Like, if you've been around forever, I call it the Hatfield and McCoys. I don't know if that's Aussie term, but if you're a Hatfield or a McCoy, or if you're lucky enough to be born into both, you're laughing. But I wanted people that were more about substance and their values and working hard and all the beauty that comes from being in a quality dance program, the life lessons. That's what I wanted ours to be about. And so I stuck with it. And the beautiful thing that came out of it was I attracted the people that were looking for it. I don't have drama in my studio. because I don't tolerate it. And the drama looking people are not looking for what I offer.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's because you've got such clarity around this. So every time you do marketing, wanting to bring in new students, retention, everything is built around these pillars. The value pillars that you've essentially created the studio on. So just like you said, it attracts the right people and it repels everyone else. And just for everyone listening, I've seen it time and time again. People like, I'll take anyone. I just need numbers. But you are going to get so many more of the right people and essentially more people coming to you when you have the clarity, when you're doing the things that Patti's talking about. Patti, I want to talk about, bringing new students in. I mean, what have you seen? You've been in the inner circle now since kind of towards the end of last year. What strategies are you working on at the moment that you've seen work really well for you in terms of, bringing those new students through the door?
Tracking. I didn't track I tracked nothing. I would have been your nightmare client. I'm so happy it took me. I actually still don't know how I got into this, but thank you. I had no idea I should be tracking things. I think I was doing a lot of things right. And by the grace of God, I was getting away with it, but I wasn't tracking. That has been one of the biggest things for me. I think the other thing too is I know how to run a dance class. I did not know how to run a business. And I have spent thousands of dollars searching for courses and training, and I'm so thankful and blessed that I have found this. And like I was telling you earlier, I feel like your values and my values go together. It's not just about business. It's heavily about business, but you danced, you've been in class, you get it from where I'm coming from, because sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it is about little Susie and mom and dad's divorce and we're the best place for her. And I'm willing to take a financial hit, but I'm also in a financial position now to do that. And it's a conscious choice. It's not a heart choice. So I don't get mad about it when her parents say they're going to pay me and don't, because I knew that going in. I can recognize the Susies of the world and choose where I'm going to be generous or charitable and when I'm not. And I love that clarity. And I think a lot of what I've gotten out of Inner Circle is strength in my convictions and my beliefs. I'm not afraid to be uncomfortable. I actually am. I tell myself every day, I'm going to look for something to make me uncomfortable. What's going to make me uncomfortable today? And I find it's a mindset and I'm loving it, because uncomfortable is scary, but it's also like the best roller coaster ever. And I think as women, or I find especially with women, we don't do uncomfortable well. We need our little girl posse to go to the bathroom. We need our little girl posse to reinforce our beliefs. And I'm getting into this, screw it. I think I know what I want. And if I don't, I'm an adult. I've got my big girl panties on. I can change my mind if I'm wrong, or make the wrong decision right for what I'm trying to accomplish. So I think between the systems that you have, and you're a genius at systems, my brain was not developed that way at all. I'm more like squirrel, that's been a struggle. And I think the hardest part for me to go to where, sit down, Patti, focus. I love the Pomodoro technique for somebody like me that's like, I had a teacher, she's one of the dance moms at our studio, offered to write me up for ADD medication because I'm good. Like I have Pomodoro. I can do this.
Well, yeah, Pomodoro has saved my life.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that I love about the program, like the Studio Formula program. And you have it so well laid out. There's room for us to add our own ideas, but for somebody stepping into it that's new and a little scared and uncomfortable, and I mean, we're all perfectionists as dance instructors. And so I think one of my biggest setbacks was I was too afraid to do it until I knew it was going to turn out perfect. And you just don't. You don't with a marketing campaign. You don't know with your student avatar. And it's trial and error. And so between the marketing and the systems and all of the things that you've done to help me develop that side of my brain, it's a beautiful thing that I feel is coming together. And like, I feel like as I'm in my early 40s, but I don't know if it's an age thing or what it is, but I'm confident, and my family noticed it. My friends have noticed it, and the parents have noticed it. It's like, I call it putting on my big girl panties, which probably isn't appropriate on social media, but
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the language that works for you, that you've identified with. Thank you for sharing that. So much golden kind of wisdom in there. I want to get into the piece around the head and the heart, because I think this is a really interesting topic to talk about, because for so many studio owners, it's not like all business or all emotional and all heart. We know running a dance studio, you've got to have both. Yeah. You've got to have the heart, the compassion, the empathy, like you were talking about. Our dance studios are second, sometimes first homes for a lot of our students. It's where they feel safe. It's where they feel like they can be themselves, outside of like being hooked on social media or being bullied at school. That was my journey. My dance studio, I started when I was 9, but my dance studio was like my home. I was there I would have been there every single day if they opened on Sundays, because I felt like that's where I could be myself. And knowing that that's what our business, provides people is super special, and we've got to be in tune to that. Like you said, you're stepping more into the CEO role, into the business role, which is around, being able to make decisions from being the leader, being the boss as well. And it doesn't mean that, people often think, but, if I'm making a lot of money in my dance studio, then I'm not focusing on my customers. I'm not giving them. Actually, I think it's like completely the opposite. When you know the business, when you've got a good business model, when you know where money's coming from, when you know profitability on your different areas, you can give more to those those different areas. You can ensure that you're providing the best experience possible. When you're making more money, you can give a lot back in terms of time, energy. You can get better teachers. There's so much more you can be doing, which gives the customer a better experience, which means you get more referrals, you get more students. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. Too. I think when you're making more money, you feel more generous because what you're putting out in the world is reciprocated well. And so it's this beautiful sharing of energy and finances. But I think that's just part of it. I think the money is a byproduct of the service that we provide. And like Jane said, loving your customers. I've had this difficult parent that is just a thorn in my side for about 2 weeks now. And I can't remember what Jane said. It was in one of the posts this week, but it was about loving your customer. And I do this great gratitude thing in the morning too, where it's like, I'm grateful for these things. And 2 of them have to be difficult so that I can see the gift in why I have that. So this difficult parent is there to remind me what my convictions are, what my values are. Why is she in my life? This is a gift. She takes a little more unwrapping for me to see that. Yeah. And I think a lot of that's just mindset. You have to have a good mindset. And parents and kids can be energy sucking vampires. They just don't, they don't understand how much of our heart and soul and family time and all of it that we give into our studios, and they don't need to. They didn't sign up to hear about it. They signed up for a dance class. So it's, how do I relight my candle so that I can keep giving them the best parts of me and give my staff the best parts of me and find where Patti runs best. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. And, one of the shifts, that I've seen with you is, putting yourself more times than you were before. like making sure that you're looking after you, like you just said there, reigniting your candle, making sure your light is shining bright. Because guys, if our light's not shining bright as the studio owner, how can we expect our teachers to step up to the plate, for our parents to step up to the plate, for our students to step up to the plate if we're not? If we're not filling ourselves, with joy, with education, with the things that are going to help us go to the next level, well, how can we expect anyone else to jump on the train with us,
Exactly.
to be on that journey? Yeah. So important. Patti, I want to ask you, if someone's thinking about the inner circle, who is the inner circle for? Because, like with you, attracting the right students, for us, it's really important that we protect our culture inside of the inner circle and get the great people in it. Like, who are going to be great people for the program, do you think?
First, I think anybody that laughs at my jokes, because I'm funny. So,
Patti is funny. We do laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I just think anyone that's fun, anyone that's funny and fun.
Yeah, but I think I do think you do have to have a degree of fun. You have to have the ability to laugh at yourself. You have to have the ability to look at yourself and like I say, put on your big girl panties. Sometimes you're going to get answers you don't want. You're going to get feedback you don't want. It's not a criticism. This is how you grow. And when you can hear that and you have a willingness to hear that, that's when growth sets in. So I think to have that mindset, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And the greatest thing I think about Inner Circle is if you love belonging to a team or a family, or not being afraid to be what you would consider in your own mind the dumbest person in the room, because I felt like that. Like, I was like, these women are brilliant. And I'm looking around going like, I hope they don't figure out I'm a fraud. And you know what? They still ate lunch with me. They still talked to me. They shared their... It's such a welcoming group of people that get it. And you can't... Studio ownership is lonely. It's lonely because you can't tell your staff everything you'd like to tell them. You can't tell your parents everything that you need to get off your chest. And you sure can't, or you shouldn't tell your students. So to have a team of people that have your back, that get it, and really do take a vested interest in your success. Like, I love how open and sharing the dance community is. I find that in general, but even more so with Inner Circle. Like, these people have a vested interest in each other, their success, their personal lives. Like, it is a fantastic environment to put yourself in. And it's okay to be the dumbest person in the room. We take turns doing that.
Yeah. And that's important. You don't want to walk into a room and go, I know more than everyone that's in this room. You want to walk. You want to walk.
Find a different room.
Yeah. Totally. Patti, thanks for sharing that. It's an absolute pleasure. Everyone that's watching, I hope you're enjoying, insights into these studio owners, because everyone's at different levels. Especially inside the Inner Circle, we have newer studio owners, we have established, we have studio owners that plateaued and want to go to the next level. They want to continue the growth. And so it's hopefully this is valuable for you to get an insight into, just where, the studio owners are at. Patti, where can our studio owners that are watching go to find out more about your business?
They can check out my website, but don't judge it because it is in the process of being revamped with everything new that I've learned. But it's www.coredynamics.ca or on Facebook.
Facebook. Awesome.
Better be on Facebook.
You better be on Facebook. Patti, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing today. I really, as always, I really enjoy our conversations.
Oh, thanks, Clint. I enjoyed it.
I hope you really enjoyed that interview and got a lot of value from it. Took a couple of pages of notes maybe on how you can really take your studio to the next level. Now, if you'd like my help and our experts and our coaches and you'd love to be part of a small group of studio owners from all around the globe, I'd love to invite you to apply for our Inner Circle. You can go to dancestudioownersassociation.com/inner Inner Circle to get all of the details and to fill out your application. It's a coaching and a mastermind program that lasts for at least 12 months. We run live events, 3-day retreats with our members. We do weekly group coaching calls. We have a really beautiful, supportive group of studio owners from around the world that are part of our Inner Circle, with everyone having the one goal, which is to grow their studio while having a life outside of their business. And let me tell you, it's definitely possible. Check out our website, dancestudioownersassociation.com/inner circle for all the details. I would love to receive an application from you. See you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.